and welcome to Nicole's Journey, episode 9. And great to have you all here today. I hope you enjoy this one. Today we're going to talk about changes, and we've been talking quite a bit. Today there's going to be some negativity in this one, and it's not from me, it's from, fortunately, that wonderful thing we call the internet. Facebook, Twitter, but today primarily Facebook. So before I get into the bad stuff, we'll talk about the good stuff. Today, I want you to take a look at the hair, because you've noticed I've feminized it quite a bit since the first video. If you go back, you can see the changes. Tomorrow, when I do the next video, you will see a complete change. Tomorrow I go for my first hairdresser appointment for a female haircut, and I am very excited. So that's a change that I'm happy about. So changes can happen twofold. You accept them, realize that we need changes to move forward in our society, or you can put your hands over your ears, shut your eyes, and pretend that changes aren't going to happen because it's not easy and simple for you. The other reason people don't like change is because they feel like it completely disregards everything they were taught either by their family, even school, the religious figure, or whatever they've watched on TV or in the news. They feel like, well, there's no way my family lied to me, so what's happening here is wrong. The problem with that is change happens and has to happen. 100 years ago, women in a lot of places couldn't vote. African Americans weren't allowed to eat in certain restaurants, couldn't use certain washrooms, and some places couldn't vote. Gays, lesbians, bis, don't even think about transgenders back then, were shunned, stoned, killed. We have come a long way in over 100 years, but there are still people out there that just refuse to believe facts. First of all, and I'm not here to burst anybody's bubble or shock you, but what many of us were made to believe growing up in the 80s, 90s, even 70s, even the 2000s, is that there are more than two genders. It's easy to say, oh, born with a penis, you're male. Born with a vagina, you're female. It's not that easy. It's a body part. It's a part that society has dictated that if you have that body part, you're that gender. If you have that body part, you're that gender. But it's up here. This amazing thing called the brain. That is what tells you what you identify as. A friend of mine I talked to online, another transgender, who's a big car buff, said, I sell you a car. It looks like a Mustang. It is a Mustang inside the driver's part, outside everything. But in the engine and everything, I put a Chrysler. You think it's a Ford. You're convinced it's a Ford. You are 100% sure it's a Ford. But you're driving a Chrysler. That's how I feel. On the outside is one, the inside is the other. And you can change the outside, but you can't change the inside. The bottom line is, there are more than two genders. And I'm not going to stand here and name them all, because there's lots. Because the chromosomes are not simple. They're not XY, YY, XX. They're all over the place. It's how you're born. Doctors for years have been given the power to tell people, oh, baby boy, baby girl. We still have gender parties where people will hit a baseball and it'll explode blue or pink or shoot a puck. I saw one the other day, and I'd love to get the link for it. If I do, I'll get it up for you later. They got the whole family around. to is, and the part of it that I want to talk about is not the actual article, but the reactions. So there was an article today in global news that on the internet that a lady came from Hong Kong where she was being persecuted. She had transitioned from male to female, but on her passport it did say male. Therefore, at the Immigration Canada, she had to say she was male. It is a flaw in our system that I'm sure will be corrected. But that's not what I want to talk about. The reaction from people was disgusting for most of them. They basically told us transgender that we are playing dress up, that we're freaks, that there's something mentally wrong with us, and that you just go and be what you were born, and if you're not happy, that's your problem. Well, first of all, I'm not a freak. Far from it. I told this gentleman, and I'll use the term loosely, that I have a good job. I pay my rent. I pay my taxes. I pay my bills. Sometimes. I look after my cats. I raised 3 wonderful children. I had some amazing relationships. But I lived a sad life. His answer? Tough. That's what God made you. Well, first of all, you don't know what God made me. Nobody knows what God made us. Nobody knows if He's happy with me when I go to heaven, if there's such a place, that He'll say, congratulations, Nicole, you lived your life. And the person who said it said, why'd you hate? It's not what I sent you down there for. I'm not going to get into the whole religious factor. I mean, we all have our beliefs, and we all have our what we think is right and what's wrong. And those words are bad to begin with too. So, what I'm trying to say about this was, the change I'm talking about is people getting out of their comfort zone. We live in a society where we grew up watching television. Most of us did. And most of the television programs that we watched, especially sitcoms, were families, Family Ties, Happy Days, Cosby Show, Growing Pains, Full House. These are all shows that depicted family. As a mom, a dad, 2 straight teenage kids, 3 straight teenage kids. Because the networks deemed anything else would be scary. But I always laugh because even with a population of one time 150 million, Cosby Show, which was a huge hit, and I'm not going to get into Bill Cosby's situation, that's not what I'm here for. Huge hit. 150 million people lived in the United States. And they had a 2 share, or 3 share, which is 3 million. So what were the other 147, 146 million people doing? That's the thing. It was a small amount. The change is that people have to get out and realize that it's all not black and white, cut and dry. We live in a society now that people have a right to be happy. Me being transgender, a transgender female, is not hurting you. And if you want to get into the bathroom situation, fine. Pretty much anywhere I go now, there is family washrooms. Tim Hortons has 2 bathrooms in there. Tim Hortons, neither one of them are male or female. They are, most of them I mean, they have the male and female. It's 2 bathrooms. You just open the door, and if it's locked, someone's in there, and if it's not, you go in. Malls. Outlet malls. Even odd stadiums now have family washrooms or even unisex bathrooms. What people have to realize is change is going to happen. I realize that a lot of you that are in your 50s and 60s accepted me. My friends and family, I have had no negativity to me. They've educated themselves. They've tried to understand. Some of them still say it's hard to understand. But they get it, that I have to be who I am. So, the bottom line is, accept change. Change happens everywhere. It happens in politics. You go from a clueless president to an articulate African American president to whatever the hell this thing is now. You have change in sports. Designated hitter in baseball. People still fighting that today. You have change in hockey. Football. For safety reasons. People wear helmets now in hockey. Back when I was a kid watching the 70s, there was lots that didn't wear helmets. Football, the helmets are stronger, the pads are stronger. The rules are in there for people's safety. A lot of people don't like it, but it's change. Our day-to-day lives. It used to be towns shut down at 10 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night. And now even Welland, there are things open until 2, 3 in the morning. Change happens. You have to let it happen. Because if you don't, you'll be left in the dust. For those of you that, if you're watching this and you're not one of my friends on my friends list or something, you're watching this saying, no, you're wrong. I'm sorry. But I'm not wrong. You need to get out of the medieval times and go with the change. I've accepted change on many options. I've accepted change when my children moved out of my house. I accept change when I had to move. I accept change when my relationships failed. It's better to move forward. So, that being said, this will be the last day of this here. We'll see a new one tomorrow. I'll do a new one tomorrow afternoon, later tomorrow afternoon. I hope everybody has a good day. Some shout outs. I just want to say to my family, to my mom, my children, my sisters, so Doreen, Joshua, Katie, William, Kate, Shelley, to my nephew Evan, my niece Emily, to my sister from another mother, Jennifer, and her beautiful daughters, Ella and Cheyenne, who just had a birthday last week.